Metro Municipality has fired its acting city manager, Sello More. This follows a judgment handed down on the 15th of December 2021 by the Judge A.J. for Rhyn, which found that More's appointment was null and void since the 30th of October 2021. The judgment states that the Mangaung Municipal Council had failed to act in accordance with legal prescripts when it came to More's appointment. Now, talk to me about this and get some clarity here. I'm joined by Newzroom Afrika's senior reporter, Tumaole Mohlaoli, as well as EFF Provincial Secretary in the Mangaung, in the Free State rather, but also member of the legislature there, member of council, I beg your pardon, in the Mangaung Municipality, Bosanku Msimang. Gentlemen, good evening and thank you very much for your time. Tumaole, let me start with you. Why has the municipal manager remained in the position even after this judgment?
Well, he basically remained in the position because I think the municipality was doing due prudence in terms of the judgment and studying the judgment and making sure that it understood what the judgment entails politically. And of course, the municipality was also engaging with stakeholders. We know that there had been numerous marches by communities that were complaining that due to the municipal manager's office, the lack of leadership and the lack of accountability and the lack of decisive action and allegations, of course, of corruption and maladministration. There were issues with service delivery when it comes to refuse removal, when it comes to the distribution of electricity to formerly disadvantaged communities who were saying effectively because of COVID-19 they couldn't pay for services, not that they didn't want to pay for services, and that the council, due to maladministration in the municipal manager's office, who turned effectively a blind eye to corrupt practices which fleeced the municipality of resources, they weren't then weren't offered basically a cushion to try and ease the blow of the COVID-19 municipality. This created a situation where we saw the so-called Mangaung shutdown movements, where residents went up in arms and basically blockaded entrances from the townships to the municipality and vice versa, and were calling for his head as far back as last year during the year. These shutdown movements were happening from about February last year all the way out to as late as about August.
This is an NC-led municipality. How much of this is playing out in the politics within that organization?
Yes, it certainly is playing out within the politics of the organization. Interestingly enough, with the election of Mgolisi Sionzana as the new mayor of the municipality, it was a case of many pundits calling it a reward for Sionzana's role in blowing the whistle. He very, I would say, outspokenly defended his position because critics were saying that he was part of the old administration. We know that, of course, the former mayor, Mohlaoli, is currently in the dock facing charges of graft and, I suppose, corruption in the state capture-related housing debacle, which was the asbestos roof saga. She's in the dock with, of course, former Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Magashule, as well as others. And, he says that he basically was the whistleblower that led to some of these things being discovered, and that he was rightly awarded the position and deserves to be leading a municipality because he is championing a municipality that is clean, a municipality that would give service to ratepayers who had been complaining.
Yeah. So the ANC backing him to remain in that position?
The ANC backing him to remain in that position is a very interesting question because the ANC in Mangaung, of course, some of the players in the so-called shutdown movement are also seen to be trying to influence the internal politics of the party, but the ANC speaking in one voice. Certainly post the municipal elections, we saw that there was quite a high delegation in terms of seniority, senior delegation sent down to try and basically spread olive branches. To try and spread the peace and to try and get the various factions. By factions, I mean there were various competing interests, and communities were really up in arms. And they were saying that the various chairpersons at branch level in the communities, communities like Tumaole, where you would find that people are still living with pit latrines despite there being finances and despite there being budgets that have been allocated to basically roll out those services and to ensure that, post-1994, over 20 years that people are still using the bucket system. It's something that supposedly was supposed to be eradicated and high up on the service delivery agenda provincially and nationally of the ANC. But because of the infighting in the municipality has been hit with several very bad audit reports and seen as financially derelict when it came to recent reports as recent as 2020. Therefore, it was something that was put squarely at Sello More's door, because he has been part of that particular financial management or mismanagement, whichever way you look at it, according to community certainly around Mangaung.
Bosanku Msimang is the Secretary of the EFF in the Free State, joining us now as well on this. Bosanku, good evening and thank you very much for your time. Why has the municipality not been put under administration?
To start with, let me first start by correcting. I'm not from Mangaung Municipality. I'm a member of Provincial Legislature in Free State, serving in the portfolio of COPTA, which is overseeing the municipalities.
All right, indeed. All right. Even better, because then you are located at a much better position to explain to us why has the COCTA MEC not intervened in this particular matter?
I think in MEC of COCTA, we have a person who doesn't understand his role correctly, what is supposed to happen as an action from the department that is leading. I will make an example. The very same Sello More, the court judgment that says it's a council which must appoint the municipal manager, not the MEC. The MEC accorded himself a responsibility to appoint on behalf of Mangaung, of which is wrong. It shows that we have people who do not have understanding and appreciation of local government politics as to whether what's happening. So we're in this mess particularly because of overrated policy and has put us in this mess. The reason some we had to go to court, it is because of wrong actions of the very same MEC of COPT. He has acted wrongly. So the provincial department, basically, it has a role to play in ensuring that we're in this mess that we find ourselves in. That's what I can say.
As the EFF, how are you challenging this particular mess that is seemingly not being rectified?
Look, with our councillors there in Mangaung Metro, we managed to lobby opposition, including some members of the ANC, in fact, majority of ANC caucus, agreed with us that we need to correct the situation where the municipal manager was appointed wrongly. Hence, a municipal manager was put aside and a correct process was followed where municipal council will pronounce itself in appointing Ntate Maine as the acting city manager. It is because of those efforts, together with opposition parties, we managed to correct the situation and ensure that there be a process of sanity. But moving forward, there are a number of things that we are doing. There's a clip where it also confirms what we have been saying as EFF, that this municipality is extremely corrupt. It does not appreciate that it must give people services. Where the then city manager, Mr. Morris, found with his hands in a cookie jar, where he's soliciting bribe from one of the local contractors, telling the local contractor that he has many mouths to feed, and then the local contractor must see how he should finance that lifestyle, including of those people, those many mouths to feed. And as EFF, we've made it very clear, our councillors are going to make sure that they open a case. I'm sure by tomorrow they'll be opening a case. We'll also push that the HOD More must be suspended with immediate effect. That's what we're going to push as EFF there, because it's clear that other people are not serious in ensuring that at the ultimate end we give our people necessary service. By the way, the very same Mangaung, it has fruitless and wasteful expenditure an unauthorized expenditure of 757 million. These people, I don't know what guides them moving forward, even though they are dropping below, they are almost below 50%, but their conscience does not really talk to them and knock some sense to them.
That's a member of the provincial legislature there in the Free State within the Cocked Department. When we continue next, still with us, Newzroom Afrika's senior reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli giving some clarity then this particular matter. And I'd like to hear a little bit more on this particular audio recording and what has happened to it and what has been done. Do stay with us. Back with you tonight here on In Focus Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, looking at that very confusing situation of what's happening there in the Mangaung Municipality. 2 weeks ago, the ANC was saying it backs this decision to appoint More as acting municipal manager. Well, now there's been an about-turn, a dramatic move with the municipal council now ordering him to vacate his position and report to his previous position as HOD of its Fleet and Waste Management Division. However, there's this matter then of this audio recording which allegedly captures him soliciting a bribe. What do we know about that?
Well, we know that this audio recording certainly would have been the motivating factor that would have pushed the municipality's hand. When we look back at the municipality's election of Mohlaoli Siyonzana, this would have been last year in Mangaung as mayor officially, because that position had also been vacant for quite a long time. This due to the court trial of then former Mayor Mohlaoli in the asbestos trial, corruption trial. And the municipality and Siyonzana were very firm to say that they are going to be acting very resolutely to be turning the municipality around. Even though Siyonzana himself was facing very firm criticism as someone who was part of the old guard, if so to speak. But he defended himself, saying that he blew the whistle, and I think he was under pressure to ensure that there was a sharp turnaround. Of course, we also saw something that would be perhaps driven more by the national government more than the provincial government, when Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula presided over the launch of the Mangaung Metro Police. Now, Mangaung was one of the metros in the country that did not have a metro police department. They had the old traffic police, and that was a void that was seen to be something that led to a very unfavorable situation in terms of enforcing municipal bylaws. Those bylaws which would have seen, of course, the prevention of things like traffic violations, but also policing around the various districts within the municipality to ensure that there was no vandalism of infrastructure, and those who were caught on the wrong side of the law that the police couldn't get to, that they would get to also the issue of job creation. So when you have Sello More being axed amid allegations that he had been, sticking his hand in the cookie jar, that's where the audio comes in, because that gave solid evidence, despite the, Mangaung shutdown movement and civil organizations always pointing to the office of the municipal manager, saying that some of these things that were happening should have been, questioned squarely, and the blame should have been put at his doorstep. But that particular audio recording probably gave the municipality and the provincial government the impetus, and perhaps even forced their hand to say that this is quite damning evidence, and therefore, with this audio evidence, it remains to be seen. The EFF has taken the matter now and laid a formal charge. This would mean that More would be facing a court process, and the municipality can ill afford to have more officials from the ruling ANC going before the court process, because of course the ANC wants to be seen to be turning things around to try and regain the municipality and hold on to Mangaung, because the last municipal election certainly sent shockwaves in the ruling party.
Certainly, his problems seem to be also quite escalating here, because the courts are also saying he had no mandates to institute the actual court proceedings, and they've now clapped him with a cost order in his own personal capacity. Is he challenging that?
This will be bad news. We wait to see if this would be challenged, but one would think that this will be something, because now he does not have a financial line, so to speak, in terms of his position, and he would not be defending it on behalf or being defended by the municipality, because being fired then effectively means that he has to face the full might of the law and defend himself from his own pocket. So questions will be raised about that, and this will also be seen by some political pundits, and perhaps our colleague here from the EFF can correct me if I'm wrong, to gauge whether the allegations of him sticking his hand in the cookie jar would hold ground, because if the court process drags on, certainly with his salary and the amount of resources required to fight such a matter in court, whether he can sustain that would be questioned, and the courts will be looking, as well as the law enforcement agencies, as to how does he finance a particular process. So this is a man who's really embattled at this stage.
Bosanku, meanwhile, the Metro, of course, saying they are going to appoint a new city manager in the next few days, and applications for the positions position closed earlier this month. Where does that leave the Metro at the moment?
My brother, that's not. Metro is at a crossroads at this point in time. In fact, it's at a T-junction, cul-de-sac. I've heard Mr. Tumaole there speaking so well about Mkolisi Sionzana. I must reiterate, Sionzana is also part of the problem, because they were given a chance while he was a speaker to come with a voluntary recovery plan. Up until the Department of Proctor came with the enforceable economic recovery plan, financial recovery plan. But still, things could not come handy for the municipality. Let me make an example why I'm saying Sionzana is also part of the problem. When you go to staff, just checking political staff, the political staff in the office of executive mayor is ballooned. It's part of the problem why we can't get that municipality right. But even though it's ballooned, most of the overtimes, which are very responsible, are conducted in a manner that is irresponsible. You'll find that a protocol officer, a bodyguard, maybe is earning 33,000, can manage to do overtime for almost of about 100,000 rand to 90-something thousand rand monthly, outside the policies of the municipality. It's not only, even cleaners are able to make serious overtimes there at that municipality, at that metro municipality. We're having a serious challenge in that municipality.
Yeah.
So,
you're saying these are bodyguards that are attached to the mayor?
Yes, attached to the mayor. From when he was a speaker, they've been doing that. So I'm saying Mkolisi Sionzana is part of the problem. Our commander-in-chief was there, was here in Mangaung sometime 3 weeks back, going around checking sewer spillage. You know what happened? Within a day, they managed to correct that sewer spillage. But it took years. When you ask the residents there, they are telling you this thing took years. Within a day, they managed to correct that. So we have a bunch of looters in that municipality. That's why we have a serious problem. Everyone's checking where to loot. So the problem will not be addressed only by hiring a city manager. So we need to really correct what is happening there. But there's a hope, because even some councillors of the ANC can see that. They are now at least voting with their conscience. They can see that this municipality is going down the drain. They are trying to help some of them. That's why they are working together with opposition. Not just working with opposition, but to correct the wrongdoings in that municipality. So each of municipal manager will have to check as to whether more so these people are shortlisted by people of Sionzana and the likes, as to whether are these appointments meant to benefit municipality, or should the municipality re-advertise in the best interest of municipality and look for a talent that will turn around that Mangaung Metro. We must check all those dynamics.
Right.
So I'm saying Sionzana is part of the problem. He has been a speaker in that municipality, and that municipality has been going down the drain under his so watchful eyes. So it's part of the problem. So we need to restructure that municipality in a fundamental way. Also, the problem of that municipality is that we have departments at the provincial level which are not paying the municipal services. That's where another problem lies. So we're dealing with a huge problem. It needs men and women of courage who will definitely make sure that they act in the best interest of this metro. But also, we need visionary leadership so that we can be able to act in the best interest of that municipality.
Bosanku, let's leave
That's
it
what
there
I can say.
because of time. I appreciate you, and thank you very much for coming on. The ANC, does it hold a comfortable majority within that council?
Yes, the ANC has certainly won the council, not necessarily by a comfortable majority, so to speak. With the election of the new mayor, which would be, of course, Kolisi Sionzana, it certainly shows that it has got a hold of the municipality, but it dropped below its previous, if I can say, majority in the previous municipal elections, just coming shortly under 51%, or not, certainly below 52% at 51%. So certainly it has got the power in council to effect the changes that are needed, but having dropped so, if I can say, starkly, because you would see that, in previous municipal elections, they had upwards of 57 to 60%.
Yeah.
So the voters sending a message. And it's not necessarily that the voters voted with their feet. If you look at the statistics that came out and went to other parties, it's that people did not turn out. We went to areas where communities were saying, we are not going to vote.
And that's been the picture that's been painted, I suppose, pretty much throughout the country, these past local government elections. Mohlaoli, I appreciate your time, and thank you very much for helping us in this conversation.